Yo yo, good morning. I'm in South excuse me South Westland again today. Just a day trip this time, looking for another chamois. I've yet to shoot one with the long bow, so still trying to pop that cherry. So yeah, just a day trip up a side creek this time. Hosed down all day yesterday, most of last night, so I don't know, maybe the chamois will be out of the bush and in the creek bed. We'll see. We shall see. In one of my last videos, or that very last one actually, I had someone ask me how I achieve that smooth footage that I get sometimes. And although some of it's on a tripod and a handheld stabiliser, a lot of it is handheld. So later on today I'll sit down and talk about just a couple of tips that you can do to get smoother footage by just hand holding your camera without the use of any tripods or stabilisers. Makes a world of difference to your footage to avoid all that jittery, hand shaky stuff you see sometimes. So yeah, I'll shit, big log there. I'll sit down later on and talk a bit about that. Alright, I'll keep you updated. Cheersy! Situation update. I stopped to put my leafy camo top on and discovered I left the darn thing in the truck. Stupid bugger. I did bring my favourite camo beanie though. That's better. Yo yo! Situation update. I'm about 3k's up that side creek now. Geez, it's a bit rough in places. Having to wade up to my crotch to get around some of the pools and bluffs. I haven't seen any chamois sign yet. There's some deer tracks in the creek bed from this morning, but yeah, no chamois sign yet. A bit disappointing. I'm just at the mouth of another, or side creek of the side creek, so I'm going to have a sneak up there and see if there's any chamois sign higher up. But yeah, good to stretch the legs anyway. Look into some new country. It's always exciting, isn't it, going into a new area, anticipation of the unknown. Whether you're going to see animals or no animals at all. Always exciting times. So yeah, I'll catch you up a bit later on. See how I get on. I'll give you a bit more B-roll in the meantime. How's that?
One day when we're old, I'll hold you while we're falling. And one day, oh, if you're hurt, I'll heal you with our powers. 'Cause I've seen many things songs, but I've never seen someone like you. Now that I'm falling for you. And I've heard all his songs, but I've never listened like I do. Now that I'm falling for you. And ice melts when you're near, 'cause I feel you and we disappear. And your skin sharp to touch, wrap your wonders in my thoughts, kiss me so. 'Cause I've seen many things, but I've never seen someone like you. Now that I'm falling for you. And I've heard all his songs, but I've never listened like I do. Now that I'm falling for you. I've seen many things, but I've never seen someone like you. Now that I'm falling for you. And I've heard all his songs, but I've never listened like I do. Now that I'm falling for you.
Boy, that was rather exciting. I peeled off up that side creek, and within, I don't know, 5 minutes and about 60 or 70 metres up it, I saw 3 chamois and the toys in the middle of the creek bed about 80 metres further up. I got a quick bit of footage of them and then put the stalk in. The wind was good coming down the creek, and I disappeared into the bush edge and snuck up through there out of sight and got up to about where I reckoned they were, and I couldn't see them. The cutty grass and scrub was just a wee bit too high, and in the meantime I picked up another 4 or 5 up on a steep slip where I'm sitting now actually. I'll try and cut a long story short, but I tried sneaking up on them, and on the way up spooked another 3. All 3 of them were singles, and all 3 of them I busted at about 6 or 7 metres. I should have been keeping my eyes open, eh? None of them stopped in range for a shot, so that was a bummer. So the 4 or 5 were still up on the slip here. It's getting on in the morning, and I knew bloody well that the wind was going to change sooner or later, start blowing up the creek. And bugger me, I got to the bottom of the slip, and they were only about 60 metres from me. I had heaps of cover. The creek was drowning out any noise I might have made, and then the dreaded wind on the back of the neck. I stalked up the slip anyway, knowing that they wouldn't be there, and they weren't. So yeah, it must have been 7 or 8 in total there. Man, what a bummer. Got some on film though, so that's cool. That's cool. I think I might just sit up here for an hour or two and Hopefully something might come back out. I know the 3 that I spooked on the way up were all young animals, so they might be silly enough to come back out. And I had planned on getting higher up here, but I know there's some more open creek bed further up, but just over here actually there's about a 20-metre vertical waterfall I can't get round. So yeah, she's been a good day after all. I was starting to get a bit worried not seeing any sign in the main creek. Awesome fun, love it. Yo yo! As I promised you guys the other day, I said I'd give you a few tips on getting smooth handheld video footage. Some of you may or may not be aware of the tips already, but hopefully it might help some of you guys. The first and most obvious one is to have any image stabilization switched on, whether it be, you know, IS on the lens, or some cameras have in-body image stabilization. So obviously have those switched on first, be the first thing. Now the tendency when you're taking video is just to hold the thing out here and pan around, do whatever you're filming. But when you're out here, it's just so unstable, it's not funny. And if you recall, the alpine climbers have that system of, or method of 3-point contact when it comes to climbing. You can apply the same to video footage with your camera. 3 points of contact is way more stable than 1 or 2. So I mean, this sort of thing is obviously going to be just terrible. So 3 points of contact, if you get one under the lens there, one on the camera body, there's your 2. It's still very unstable. So the idea is to bring that right back into your chest and lock your elbows. So now you've got 1, 2, 3 points of contact, and straight away that's rock solid. And so when you want to go for motion with your shots, instead of going like this, lock everything in tight and twist your torso, go up and down, sideways. It just makes for much smoother footage. Now another way you can apply that 3-point contact system is, again, with your 2 hands. Instead of using your chest and torso as that 3rd point, you of course use your eye or your forehead for that 3rd point of contact, and again just use your body to rotate rather than your hands. And yet another way is to attach your camera strap. Bloody hell. And now you've got 1, 2, and then your 3rd one is the back of your neck. This method here is probably the best of the lot. You can, I'll just step back a bit here. You hold that camera steady with your both hands and then pull that camera strap tight against the back of your neck, and all of a sudden you've got this super steady platform. And again, you can swing sideways, tilt up and down, very, very stable and smooth. Looks a bit silly, but if you haven't got a tripod or a hand stabilizer, it's the way to go. Another thing you can do to avoid shake and jitteriness in your shots is to shoot wide angle. The wider you are, the less those movements can be seen in the footage. If you zoomed in to long focal lengths like 100, 200, 300, as you probably know, any movement at those long ranges is exaggerated. So if you can, shoot wide and those movements will be less obvious. Another thing to avoid when you're in the middle of shooting is not to change settings while you're filming. You go to change autofocus to manual focus or change the aperture or something, you've got to touch the camera, and that of course is going to introduce some sort of movement to it. So the idea is to get all your settings right before you start shooting, so you're not having to, you know, change things halfway through. That'll introduce movement. Now, one final way of getting some very cool kind of almost zooming in and zooming out footage, and this is going to look really stupid and embarrassing if you're in front of people, but what it does get you is about 2 seconds of really smooth footage. The idea is to use this neck strap system again. Lock that out there. Just step back here so you can see, and then stand on one foot, aim at your target, your subject, and then simply fall forward, and at the last minute catch yourself from falling with your other leg. So it goes like this. Looks really silly, but it works, and it'll get you 2 seconds of really good footage. It works the other way too. You can be filming something and get that pull back effect by just locking that in and falling and catching yourself at the last minute. Like I say, there'll be about 2 seconds of footage there that's very, very usable, and it'll be very, very smooth. So those are the tips. Whether you've heard of them before or seen them before, I don't know. They may help, they may not. So that's about it for this film. I've got another vlog coming out very, very soon on a I don't know, a working day in the life of a freelance photographer and writer. I just had another magazine article to research there and did a wee vlog while I went along. So I'll catch you next time. See you later.